your math will be different because everybody's pages are going to be a different weight, so your signatures will end up being either more narrow or thicker than mine. So mine ended up about like that. And I don't put a signature on the very edge. I step in a little bit. That's why it's not on the actual edgy edge. So there are my 9 lines, spaced out probably somewhat evenly. And then I'm going to take my template and I'm just going to line that one up with the center line. And I'm going to mark where I stabbed the holes in the papers. And then what I do is I just mark that straight across. And everywhere the horizontal lines intersect the vertical lines, that's where a stitch is going to go into your fabric. The problem with dark fabric is being able to mark where you want your stitches to go. So what I did was I just poked holes. Everywhere where those lines intersect, I poked a hole so that I would be able to see it, because I'm going to mark that on the inside of this fabric. If you have lighter fabric, you can just use a pencil. I love this thing. I don't even know what size that is. It's dinky is what it is. It's pure dinkiness. So I'm just going to just cut around a little bit here. I don't have a bunch hanging off the edges while I'm working. I'm just leaving a 1/4 of an inch around the edge. Get some glue, just some white glue, just some white PVA. Just brush it on the back and plop it right down, 1/4 of an inch away from the edge. If you want to put your little spacer here in the middle like you had, that's a great idea. Then when you put your covers down, then you will be ready to rock and roll and put in your pages. So I'm going to do that right now, and I'll be right back. Okay, so now that I have the covers attached where I want them and the edges trimmed with the little excess that I want, which ended up being about 1/8 of an inch all the way around. If you're making a bigger book, you might want a little more, or maybe not. Now we can turn it over and mark on the inside where we're going to be making the stitches. So I went and grabbed a piece of cardboard, and I'm going to take the spacer that we used to keep everything separated. I'm going to cut out a nice thick piece of cardboard, and I want this nice and tall. I want it taller than the covers. So I want it to fit between the covers. And then I want to be able to flip it over, right, like that. Kind of snaps in. Little template that we punched the holes in. If you have a grid board, nice to be able to line things up with. And then you can line this up, our little template here. And now you know where those edges of the covers are, because it's hard to tell with this thick fabric. If your fabric isn't this thick, then it might not be a big deal. So now I know where the center of that middle gap piece is, and I can take just this little skinny black felt tip marker, and through every one of these holes I can mark a little black spot in there. If you're using lighter fabric, you could probably just get away with a little pencil mark, or you might be able just to poke holes and be able to see the holes. I wouldn't be able to poke holes in this and be able to see the holes. So I figured I would just make the little diagram this way. And now you can probably see my little dots, my little cheater dots. You could also, if you have real dark fabric like this, you could also line it with a lighter fabric if you wanted to. I didn't want to add any more layers. I like this amount of fabric. This fabric is fairly hefty, so adding more would just make it cumbersome. But if you're using fabric that isn't very heavy, then you can definitely add layers if you would like.
I know you told your friend you're not okay, and tell me what's wrong and why you never said you felt that way. And guess you're trying to stay strong and fake a smile until I look away. But I've known you too long, it hurts to watch your blue eyes fade to gray as you fade away, as you fade away.
Yeah, I'm about to fade away, cause every time I wake up I feel like it's Monday. Something's going wrong with all the chemicals up in my brain. All of a sudden I don't look at anything the same way. Gotta build up of my thoughts sitting in an ashtray. I'm sorry that I'm so inconvenient, okay. Just let me be me and I'll stay out of your way. I can see the way you look at me, I'm such a disgrace. I never really asked to be brought into this place. You wanna love me? Well then baby I have a taste. All the highs and the lows, no you'll never be the same. I don't really wanna hurt you but I can't control the pain. If you're sticking by my side maybe we could be okay. Okay, maybe you could be the change I need today. I promise that I've never felt this way. I really hope that you will choose to stay through all the pain.
I know you told your friend you're not okay, and tell me what's wrong and why you never said you felt that way. And guess you're trying to stay strong and fake a smile until I look away. But I've known you too long, it hurts to watch your blue eyes fade to gray as you fade away, as you fade away, as you fade away, as you fade away.
So now that the thread has come out to the outside, I'm not going to make a knot out here. I'm just going to go over a couple little stitches in the fabric and come back into the inside. And I'll make the knot in here. And we can put it right there. This thread knots very well. And now all of our pages, let me zoom out a little bit here. Everything is sewn into our little spine here. You can barely see the little threads. You can use real bright contrasting thread if you would like to. You can thread beads on here if you want as you're sewing. There's all kinds of things you can do. Now that it's all sewn together into a book, if you want to cover this with another piece of fabric or a piece of trim, different kinds of laces or a strip of leather, anything like that will work too. If you have, this was the spine from the original book, this can go back on here if you like. If you don't want to see the stitches, you can totally do that. But I like how when it has just a nice little hinge here, and then when it opens up though, it can lay absolutely totally flat. And there's still plenty of room. As you can see, the spine is wider than the end. There's plenty of room for it to grow without becoming this huge alligator mouth thing. This monster, there's quite a few steps involved, I guess. You gotta measure, and you gotta cut your papers, and you gotta fold them, and you gotta figure out how wide of a spine you want, and then you gotta make a template. So many things you have to do. Once you get it down though, and you get the process in your head, it's not quite so intense, quite a chore, because you don't really have to think about it anymore. But I think these little books are adorable. Even if you don't have the spine, because this is not gonna hold, as you can see, that would not hold anything as far as the spine goes. So it's nice that you can take a piece of textile and turn that into your spine, and then you can have as wide or as narrow of a spine as you want. You don't have to worry about the book is 3 inches thick and I'll have to fold up 5,000 pieces of paper to fit in there. No, you don't have to. You can just take the book apart if you want, and you can absolutely just make your own spine with some fabric. I think it looks nice. I really like this style of book. I think they're very versatile and adaptable because you can make them as big or as small as you'd like. Even if you don't have a book cover, like I said before, you can use just a piece of chipboard or several pieces of chipboard if they're real thin and flimsy. Glue those together. Cover them in some scrapbook paper or collage some newspaper or dictionary pages on it and make pretty covers, and then you could use them as covers. So those of you that have been collecting paper and saving it for a rainy day, your rainy day has arrived. So go get that paper, because what else are you going to do with it? Because you keep collecting paper. So you keep collecting. So you might as well start using your back stock that was your favorite. Because is it really your favorite if you never look at it again? It's not really your favorite anymore if you never use it. You just stash it away. Oh, I'll keep that for something special, and that something special never comes. It never comes. Because you look at it and you think, oh, well, I don't want to waste it on this or waste it on that. And I am guilty of it too. I am absolutely guilty of it, especially if it's pad of paper or something that I know they don't make it anymore, or it's old and it doesn't look like that anymore when they make this kind of paper. Just use it. You're gonna be 95 years old and you're gonna have all this great paper sitting around that you never used. So get it out and use it. Promise me that you will fold together some paper and you will grab a piece of fabric from somewhere. You'll sew some pages into a book. Promise me you'll do that. So make a PACKRAT journal. They're a lot of fun. They have absolutely no pretenses whatsoever. There aren't a whole lot of rules about them. That's kind of the thing. They're a type of junk journal. I guess you could kind of put them in that kind of a genre. but I don't really consider any of this junk, like it's junk mail that came that was thrown away. What does a pack rat collect? A pack rat collects favorite things, little treasures. I consider a pack rat journal more of a collection of these favorite pieces that we've squirreled away, that we've pack ratted away. The chosen, saved, treasured little pieces that you're like, oh, I'm going to keep that for something special. I saved the covers. I saw the real patina on them. I just love the finish. It's hard to fake that. It's hard to fake that kind of a patina. Let me know if you have any questions. Please put them down below in the comment section. I'm gonna glue a book plate on there. So put a little label in here for the front of this book. I hope you enjoyed the little project today. And if you've never made a book before, I hope it gave you the confidence to try. All you need is some paper and needle and thread and a little bit of fabric and a piece of chipboard or a book cover, whatever you'd like. I hope it gave you some ideas. Thank you so much for joining me today for this little pack rat journal project, and I will see you all really, really soon in the next video. Bye, guys.